Hey everyone, welcome to episode 20 of The Comic Boot. I'm Kalen.
I'm Cody.
I'm James.
Okay, so since it's Valentine's week, we're doing an extra special little episode about famous couples.
And we didn't want to
comic
depress
books.
too many people on Valentine's Day proper, so we didn't make everyone feel lonely. Kalen. About talking about couples and how couples work.
Hey, my boyfriend's in Canada. It's
Sure.
fine.
Mm-hmm. What's his name?
Lars?
Lars? Yeah? Is he cute?
Oh, of course.
Yeah? Do you have any pictures?
His phone is broken.
That is Michael Fassbender.
Lars Ulrich is the drummer from Metallica.
That's why we were just talking about we were just talking about the Grammys. Oh my god. What is that from? What was that from again?
No, it's from Superstore, where she goes,
Yes!
I catfished my art teacher in high school with a picture of Michael Fassbender. Yeah. Yeah.
She
Oh,
works as a
shit.
barista in Australia.
I think she's happy.
I think she's happy in
I
Australia.
think she's happy in Australia.
Apparently, Michael Fassbender, wasn't he in like a domestic assault charge on
I
him,
don't
or-
know.
I
Do you
don't
think
know.
it was Magneto when he started flying? And,
Started
give me all the forks.
I am the Lord of Magnetism, throwing spoons at people.
Yeah. No, so what we wanted to do is we wanted to talk about comic book couples. And since it's Valentine's Day, and how important couples are in comic books, the most important couples in comic books, the iconic couples in comic books. And, you know, we kind of brainstormed a couple days ago.
Oh, we have a
And
list.
we have a humongous list, and this is just off the top of our head. So obviously we're not going to touch everyone. Touch. But we're going to, at the end of this, we're going to kind of weigh in on who we think might be the most important couples moving forward.
Of course, this is all subjective.
Absolutely. No, there's no right or wrong answer to this. I mean, for some of us, it could be, you know, Mary Jane and Peter Parker. And then
James
others
is staring at me, for those of you who don't know.
And then
We'll
there
touch on that a little.
And then there are couples who actually matter.
Yeah, and then there's couples that are important. And no, I'm just kidding. Mary Jane and Peter are very important. They're long lasting.
Well, they've
Except
had a very
for
tumultuous
You know,
past.
he helped kill his other girlfriend. But anyway, snap that bitch's neck. I'm just kidding.
Anyways,
Not you.
and
So-
even some, I would say, couples that there could be considered newer, but are still vital and important couples. to
And then
comic
there are
books.
couples that we may have never known because of the CCA.
Exactly.
Yes, James found some really interesting thing about
I
the
did.
the
Comic Code Authority. Yeah.
Oh, the worst thing to ever happen.
Yeah, Comic
Inside
Code
the
Authority banned, literally put a ban hammer on any major comics, being DC Marvel specifically, of them mentioning, hinting at, or
alluding
to in any way a homosexual relationship
or homosexual person.
until 1989. So the idea of homosexuality was completely banned by the Comic Code Authority until 1989.
Could that have coincided with the whole AIDS epidemic?
No, Comic Code Authority took place in what, the 50s?
No, lifting
yeah.
the ban is what I'm saying.
Well,
I think it was just
the AIDS
more-
epidemic was rampant during the mid '80s. I mean, why not take that medium during the '80s and make it prevalent, especially with young readers? But the problem is that our Fuhrer Ronald Reagan was in charge during the '80s and as our conservative president, and you and I had a long conversation
Yeah,
back
which
and
is why I'm
forth.
surprised you said Fuhrer.
No, it's I'm making fun of your Nazism claim of that stuff. No, but Ronald Reagan was an actor, obviously,
Yeah.
and he was really good friends with Rock Hudson, and a lot of media sources and things like that want to come out and say that he turned a blind eye to the AIDS epidemic during the '80s. When in fact, research spending under Reagan, increased exponentially from, 82 on. And, it's kind of a false, I don't know how to describe it. It's not a truth whenever they say that he turned a blind eye. Under being a Republican and, the Christian coalition and things like that, obviously they don't want to come out and talk about gay relationships or whatever, and the AIDS epidemic was obviously rampant in the gay community during that time. But I don't understand why the Comics Code Authority wouldn't take that opportunity to, address that, especially with young readers, and make them more educated on, a subject
Even
matter.
After this, there hasn't always been really positive portrayals of gay people. That was actually in one of the stories in Love is Love. There was one comic book character who was like complaining because they were like all hanging out at a gay bar, like Batwoman and all the really notable gay characters. They were hanging out talking in a bar, and I can't remember who it was, but he was talking about how shittily he was portrayed.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this is like, and of course the 80s, it's not like it is now. I mean, even now is not perfect.
No.
But it was worse off even in the 80s.
And then it took, and Marvel was the first one to step up, but they stepped up kind of like what they're doing with their infusion of, female characters now, or,
Or people of color.
People of color with, Kamala Khan and stuff. It seems like they're just doing it to doing it, or Riri Williams as Ironheart or whatever. But they finally stepped up in 92, so it took 3 full years for them. Yeah, after the ban hammer was lifted, for them to come out, and good on Marvel at that point in time, for them to come out and say North Star in Alpha Flight 106 came out as the first openly gay character.
Yeah. And
which is great. But then it took another 10 years for them to have a marriage.
it was in 2012?
2002.
2002 was...
Midnighter and Apollo got married.
Right. The first actual official gay marriage was between Midnighter and Apollo in 2002. And
The
then,
Authority #2.
Yes.
And that was Warren Ellis,
and
Wildstorm.
Was it the first or second Wildstorm?
#2.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was Warren Ellis and Brian Hatch.
And then years later, there was another one. It was actually between North Star and his civilian boyfriend. And Marvel had like this huge wedding special for it.
When was that?
It was in like 2012.
Oh, is that what you were telling me about earlier?
Yeah,
In 2012? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess, I don't know about the article. That was the Guardian article that you were...
Yeah, the headline on the
citing.
Guardian article said that it was the first ever gay marriage in comic books, which obviously isn't true because, as you point out,
major distributor. I mean, technically it was still published under Wildstorm.
it wasn't DC yet.
But DC owns
Yeah,
Wildstorm
Wildstorm
now, yeah.
Wasn't
Now
owned
they
by
are.
DC, yeah.
So, but still, first comic was 2002.
Yes.
So, I mean, if you want to say major comic at that point.
Then you would say, yeah, it was
Yeah.
Marvel with North Star.
But yeah, so couples have been around in comics for ever.
Yeah.
I mean,
Batman and Robin, first couple, 40s? Kidding.
no, probably Superman, Lois Lane, but
Yep.
I get the reference.
Yeah, Superman, Lois
Lois and
Lane.
Clark.
Lois
Probably
and
the
Clark.
most iconic of the comic book.
And we
couple.
talked about that too, about the fact that Lois fell in love with Superman.
But here's the thing, though. It kind of goes back to that really awesome quote from Kill Bill Volume 2. He's never Clark Kent. Clark Kent is the Mask. He's always Superman. He's always been Superman. He was born Superman. But Clark Kent is his alter ego, is the mask he has to put on.
So in the alternate of that, Batman, Bruce Wayne is the Mask.
He's become the Mask, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, he was born Bruce Wayne and he became Batman. But of his time being Batman, Bruce Wayne is
the Mask.
now the Mask.
Yeah, okay. All right, I get that. But still, it's the human persona that he portrays as Clark Kent.
Yeah, because
That she has... I mean...
he's
you
all
can't
like
just
weak and fumbling and, you know.
You can't
he's the
date
most true
Superman.
himself.
I mean, the bad guys are going to come after your girlfriend first. I mean, the girlfriend...
Oh, yeah, it happens
especially
all the time.
if she's not a super... She's not like Wonder Woman or something. It's fucking Lois Lane. You know?
I mean, Lois Lane is a badass in her own right.
Well, I want to know how Superman... We're going to be kind of blunt, like, during coitus, how he didn't just, like, split her in half.
Oh, like when they're fucking?
Yes.
Who was that? Was that? We're bringing up Kevin Smith again. Didn't he do a whole thing about that where there would be no way in hell that she could live through that?
I have no idea.
Maybe. I know that...
Or
what was it?
or having a Kryptonian in her belly.
Maybe, yeah.
Who, I don't know.
Well, I know that
really-
Hancock,
would
the movie Hancock,
destroy
touched on that, and like he pushes the girl he's having sex with out of the way,
And it's like
then
bullet
comes
holes
and
through
fucking
the roof.
bursts a hole through his trailer roof.
In Hitchcock?
Hancock.
Or Hancock. That's what I meant.
With Will Smith in the unrated version, yeah.
Oh, I didn't watch the unrated version.
He fucking blows a hole with his cum load.
Oh my
Through the trailer.
Please don't listen to this, Soph. Please. God damn it.
Yeah, this...
Cody always takes it to that point, doesn't he?
He has,
Not always.
He has to bring it there, and then I have to, tweak it a little bit.
Anyways, but there was actually a comic
Just
talking about Lois Lane seeing Superman's manhood for the first time and him being an alien. And she's like...
Is it tentacles? Please say yes.
You don't ever see it. And she's like, what the fuck is that? And he's like, it's my penis?
There's a comic that does that?
Someone did a fan comic of it, and it's
okay.
amazing.
That sounds like something from Robot Chicken. I'm not even gonna...
Absolutely.
It's really well
does.
done art, though. Like, not that you see his member, but like...
Right,
it's,
but like the rest of the
it, yeah,
art is
it
really
literally
good.
looks like it would be straight from a
Let's
DC
go on the
comic,
more
but-
romantic side of Valentine's Day, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're just getting right into it. There's no foreplay, no romance. You just got right into the...
Instead of getting the
hardcore
candy, he
stuff.
went for the Trojans.
Yes.
Oh.
Anyways,
And they're like the cheap ones. They're not the Louis Vuitton design ones.
Really?
That's a
that's
thing.
a thing.
Oh my god.
It's a
It's
thing.
made of leather and stamped with
God, I hope so.
Fleur-de-lis and
fleur-de-lis.
diamonds.
I was trying to think of what their little...
The
their-
rapper is. The rapper has a bunch of fleur-de-lis on it.
Of course it does. Anyways.
Probably the next biggest couple that everyone is really familiar with is Bruce and Selina.
Well, DC-wise, yeah.
The bat
DC
and the
wise.
cat.
The Bat and the Cat. Yep.
Mm.
Without a doubt. And the current run that they're doing right now in Rebirth, and I think I'm the only person reading that, they had a rooftop episode. I always refer to
It's kind of like an episode, though, because
It
there's
is.
story arcs, and
I
there's
don't
short
know.
story
I just
arcs, and
see
then there's
them as-
one-shots that are like single episode, basically.
Well, I see them as like episode. I don't know why. But in that issue, the rooftops issue, he's supposed to take her back to jail. They end up spending a night together on a rooftop, and they relive some of their old fights and things like that. And they spend a beautiful night together. And then in this latest issue, she gets away from him ultimately. And in this latest issue, she shows up at the bat signal, and Batman shows up, and he's like, "Where's Gordon?" And then Gordon says, "Why is the bat?" He comes out on the roof, and Selina Kyle's there talking to Batman or Catwoman, whatever. And Gordon comes out with his gun drawn. "Why is the bat symbol on?" And he goes, "Catwoman, you're under arrest. Freeze!" And she's like, "Gotta go." And she bounces out, and Batman just lets her go. And Gordon comes up to Batman. And he goes, "You could have got her." And he goes, "Yeah, I could have." And so by him letting her go, he's letting her do her thing,
That's like the ultimate.
Fuck you to Jim
Ju-
Gordon, yeah.
Well, not just that, but Batman loves you if he does that.
Oh, Batman loves
Because
Selina Kyle,
his-
without a doubt.
His endless pursuit of the mission and justice would normally never let him do that.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
even think he would let Talia get away with shit like that.
He won't.
No.
He loved Talia. He did.
But she's kind of cuckoo.
Talia's not
And
Selena,
she showed up in
though.
Arrow.
Did she really?
Yeah.
It's not Nissa? Is Nissa a thing anymore?
No, well, I mean, I'm sure she is, but Talia al Ghul showed up in flashbacks for Oliver Queen.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Alright, so the only thing I really have for Marvel couples is Tony Stark and everything with a vagina.
That was your comment.
Yeah.
That was specifically Kalen's comment.
Because
I'm not wrong.
Early Tony Stark loved Pepper Potts, but she ends up not really falling for him. She falls for Happy Hogan, who's his bodyguard.
Well, it's Jon Favreau. Why not?
Fair.
No.
He does have that, like,
Dude,
lovable...
Swingers is amazing.
Well, and he does kind of have that lovable, like, puppy dog look to him in a way.
Yeah.
But that's how Happy Hogan looks in the comic books. Like, Jon Favreau is very faithful to Happy Hogan, but she ends up marrying Happy Hogan in the comic books, and I think recently, though, they kind of rekindled
So that's the
Pepper
one
Potts Tony
thing
Stark.
from Iron Man that is canon. Pepper Potts leaves. Sorry.
Well, how about an actual real couple? Jean and Scott, X-Men.
Jean Grey and Scott Summers. Absolutely.
When we
That-
first said that in the group, I was thinking Gene and Scott, or not Scott, who was it? Gene Loring, and is it Ray Palmer is her husband in DC?
Oh, I have no idea, dude.
It's the Adams wife, so yeah, it's